Hi vintage bakers! Today I'm in the kitchen making soft and gooey cinnamon rolls.
This cinnamon roll recipe makes buns that are soft and fluffy on the inside with a perfectly golden outside.
These warm and cozy cinnamon buns are the ultimate comfort food dessert and can be made any time of year but are especially nice during the colder months. And at my house, always make an appearance during the Christmas season.
The spiral layers are coated in a warm spice sweet filling, and all of this deliciousness is layered with a generous helping of sweet and tangy cream cheese icing. So let's get into the kitchen. This is how I make cinnamon rolls.
To start this recipe, I'm going to make the dough for the rolls. I'm using an enriched dough today, which just means I'm using richer ingredients to make the bread dough. To the bowl of a stand mixer or a large bowl if you're mixing the dough by hand, add in 1 cup of warm milk, stir in 1/2 cup of sugar and sprinkle on top 2 1/4 teaspoons or 1 packet of dry active yeast. I'm going to set this aside for a few minutes for the yeast to dissolve and become foamy. And now I can add in 1 teaspoon of salt, 2 eggs, 1/3 cup of softened butter, and then finally 4 1/4 cups of all-purpose flour. For an even softer bun, replace the all-purpose flour with 4 1/2 cups of bread flour. Mix and then knead the dough for about 8 minutes if you're using a machine, or 10 minutes if you're kneading the dough by hand. I'm going to cover the bowl and place it in a warm spot to rise for 1 hour, or until the dough has doubled in size. Now that my dough has risen, I'm going to tip it out onto a floured counter and roll it out into a large rectangle. The dough should be quite soft and easy to roll. To make the filling, in a medium bowl, I'm going to add 1 3/4 cup of brown sugar, 3 tablespoons of cinnamon, and 3/4 cup of melted butter. Mix this together until everything is moistened. I'm going to drop this evenly all over the top of my dough rectangle. Then I can spread it out evenly all the way out to the edges. Starting at one of the short sides of the rectangle, roll the dough evenly into a log. You don't have to go too tightly, the dough is still going to rise and expand before going into the oven. Now I'm going to cut the log into 12 as equal as possible cinnamon rolls. These are all going to go into a rectangular casserole dish that I've already greased with butter. To cut the rolls, you can either use a knife or a piece of string. I have done it both ways and both cut perfectly shaped cinnamon rolls, so whatever you have on hand will be perfect. I'm using a string today, and to get my rolls evenly into 12, I first cut the roll in half, and then each of those in half again. Now I can cut each section into 3 equal rolls. Place the unbaked cinnamon buns spread out into the casserole dish. There should still be a little room between each bun. That way, as they expand during the final rise, they'll grow and fill out the pan. I'm going to place this in a warm spot in my kitchen and allow these to rise for about 30 minutes or until they've puffed up and just about doubled in size. While I'm waiting, I'm going to get my cream cheese icing going. In a bowl, add 1 softened 8-ounce brick of cream cheese, 1/4 cup of softened butter, 1/4 teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of vanilla, and 1 teaspoon of lemon juice. Finally, add in 2 cups of icing sugar. Mix on low to incorporate the ingredients and then beat until light and creamy. If you're going to be serving the whole casserole dish of cinnamon rolls right away, then go ahead and spread this dreamy icing over top the buns just before serving. If not, I like to keep the icing in a separate container. That way you can reheat the cinnamon rolls as you need them and spread the icing on fresh. Now my buns are ready to go into my preheated 400 degrees Fahrenheit or 200 degrees Celsius oven for 20 to 25 minutes. If you want the top of the buns to be lighter in color, cover with a piece of tin foil after the first 15 minutes. When the icing is spread onto the warm buns, it will melt slightly and drip and drizzle in between all of the sweetly spiced spiral layers, making the dessert an ooey gooey masterpiece. This dessert pairs perfectly with a side of fruit, and if you're making them in the fall like me, then fresh apples or a side of fresh apple butter will take this dreamy dessert to a whole new level. Enjoy! If you're a fan of deliciously simple vintage recipes and old-fashioned skills, then you'll want to check out this next video. Thanks for stopping by.